Virgil van Dijk has won everything there is to win in England. He's earned recognition of his abilities from teammates, opponents, and fans every single season. Yet, why is it that when we think of skillful players, he rarely gets looking? So, in this video, I want to make the case that he is absolutely one of the world's most skillful defenders. And I'm going to do it by using evidence from the scientific literature on skill acquisition in sport. Firstly, we have to debunk the myth that skill in football is all about tricks, step overs, etc. But that is not really what skill is all about. It might just be a small part of skillful performance, and sometimes doing these trick step overs might not even be necessary. So, what is skill in football? What's it all about? Well, in the literature, it's been defined as how consistent, efficient, and effective one is in performing the key actions required in your position. So, for Van Dijk, as a centre back, what does he need to do? Well, he needs to be able to control the ball well, granted, make successful passes, make forward passes successfully, drive forward into space without losing the ball. He might need to turn away from pressure. He'll need to intercept. He'll need to jump to win aerial duels. He might also need to accelerate in recovery runs, decelerate and change direction when defending 1v1, and time his tackles to win the ball back. And guess what? Van Dijk has consistently ranked in the top 20% of all centre backs in the top 5 European leagues in every season he's played for Liverpool. And what else? These actions seem to be done so effortlessly, which shows he is highly fluent and control of the execution of these technical and physical skills, which is exactly what skillful performance in football is all about. Let's listen to Jamie Carragher, who describes this perfectly.
It's almost like it's still too easy for him. It almost feels like there should be another level above that for Van Dijk, because he plays the game with such ease that it's like the biggest games coming up. I watch him here against Haaland, and Haaland's the best goal scorer around, a big, powerful lad, got pace, and it's like it doesn't even feel like he's trying.
So clearly, Virgil van Dijk is a highly skilled performer because he can perform all these actions successfully and efficiently on a consistent basis. So, how does he do it? It's important to understand, firstly, that football is an open skilled sport. This means that every single action Virgil does will depend upon the changing game environment. Take into consideration things like teammate movements, opposition behaviours, and even match status, such as are you winning, are you losing, are you drawing. That means that mastering the technical and physical motor skills we've just described might not be enough for skillful performance. In fact, it's not enough. Virgil van Dijk must also have and does have the perceptual and cognitive skills too. So, what do we mean by these two concepts? Perceptual skills is related to your overall awareness of what is happening around you and spotting relevant cues and triggers to inform your decision making, to inform the actions you choose to do on the pitch. And cognitive skills is related to the intellectual and tactical attributes of your game, to not just choose the best action at the right time, but also relates to your positioning and movement of the ball. In fact, the English FA have now embraced the science and now suggest that in order for players to be truly considered as skillful, they need to not only master these technical and physical skills, i.e., motor skills, but also be able to consider developing their positioning, movement of the ball, timing, deception, and scanning. Let's move on from the theory aspect and let's look at some tangible, practical examples of what this skillful play looks like. Let's look at his in possession play first. When it comes to his receiving and passing, the reason why he is so efficient and effective is partly down to how he creates space. Look here at when his teammate receives a ball on the left, he doesn't stand still, he drops off in order to create a passing angle to give himself more time and space to recognize if there's a forward passing option on. Look at another example here. As the ball is getting switched, he drops off to create a passing pathway so he can receive those switch passes across the back in plenty of time and space. And look again here, you can't even see Van Dijk because he's dropped off almost 25 yards behind the ball. Again, all with the intention to give himself more space, which means more time. So he's got more chance of retaining the ball, more chance of switching play, more chance of playing forward. Now, because of the space he's created for himself, he now has the time to get his head up and look for the best passing opportunities and where to control the ball. In this example, he looks up and analyzes his passing options. He can see an opportunity to exploit a 2v1 on the right side, but perhaps because they've just regained the ball, or perhaps because he wants to try to draw Tottenham out of position, he simply decides to pass back to the goalkeeper and try to draw out more pressure. And that is exactly what happens. Kane presses the goalkeeper, which leaves him free to receive a return pass. Notice his body shape, how he is open and now facing forward, so he can see the full picture nice and early. And by doing this, he can see that he's no longer under any pressure at all, which affords him the space to control the ball forward a good 2 to 3 yards ahead of him. Now look, head up and analyse the changing picture once more. He can see the Spurs midfield shifting towards him, while his teammate make an elusive movement into the opposite direction. His game awareness allows him to spot this, which allows him to play a driven inside foot pass across 25 yards with high precision. This is a classic example of how he has not only just really good technical skills to be able to perform that forward pass, but also really good perceptual and cognition skills too. In this second example, where the play is much higher up the pitch, we can see that Van Dijk is seeing that his teammate is outnumbered and that his team may need to switch play. So he checks if there is a possibility to switch plays just in case he gets the ball. And he can notice a number of options he has in order to do this. A few seconds later, he's getting ready to receive the ball and he gives a critical scan just in case to see if he's going to be under pressure. He knows he's not, so he can control the ball across his body and he gets his head up to check if the conditions are there to make a direct switch pass to the other side of the pitch. And the answer is yes. He can see that Arnold is running forward, which occupies the PSG left back, leaving Salah in more space to receive a switch pass. And just to make sure there is, he used a bit of disguise. He looks at Arnold to make Mendes think he's playing centrally, but instead plays a lofted driven pass with the outside spin to get the ball to Salah. Let's do a final example. Van Dijk here takes a couple steps back to give himself a little bit more time and space. But as he's looking, he can see danger with Dembele looking to jump and press and ask for his teammates to drop off because he knows he's going to receive under pressure. Now, because he's seen this pressure, he controls the ball away from pressure, gently peeling his inside foot away from the ball so it goes across his body and give himself a little more time and space away from the incoming Dembele. He now looks to switch play to the other centre back, but Kvaratskhelia is looking to jump up too, and his centre back is in a closed body position, so a switch is risky here. So he then makes a turn of the sole across his body with high levels of control and ease before making a short inside foot pass to his teammate's safe side, so he can control the ball with minimal risk. So in these three examples, we can see that Van Dijk has not only great receiving, turning, and passing techniques through good balance, coordination, strength, and power in his legs, but the reason he has so much success with all of these is because of his awareness. He's always scanning and reading the game, which allows him to alter his position and movements to create space to give himself more time in order to assess when to pass, where to control the ball, when to make a turn, and what type of passing technique or turn to use. Now, Virgil van Dijk is not just an excellent player in possession, he's also highly skilled out of possession too. For example, when he's got responsibility of marking an attacker, like Kane in this instance, he gets himself into a goal side position where he's able to see ball and man while still protecting the space. And this balance between defender space behind him while still being close enough to put pressure on an attacker like Kane if he receives a pass to feet allows him to defend both options that the opponents might use. For instance, here the pass to Kane is to his feet. So he pushes up and uses strength and balance to step in front of Kane to intercept. And crucially, he's aware of his teammate's position, which allows him to make a successful pass with his head, which is probably one of the most underrated skills in football. To be able to play a successful pass when you're intercepting the ball, especially when you're being knocked out of balance by an opponent. Now, in this other example, Space play longer, and because his position is excellent and he gets the balance between marking the man and the space, he has the advantage of defending the long pass in beyond Liverpool's backline. Look how quickly he reacts to defend it. And to clear the ball, he looks right through the ball on contact, throughout contact, contracting his muscles with excellent coordination and balance to get height and distance on the header. And a similar example here, Van Dijk reads the long ball early, and to intercept, he makes a first time volley pass, again to a free teammate. Now, for set pieces, in corners in this instance, he has a zonal responsibility and to clear away anything that may come to his area. Look how he's on his toes, he's alert, he reads the flight of the ball really well to time his movement towards the ball and gets good timing and height in his jump, showing good power in his legs to beat the opponent to the ball and get a headed clearance out of the danger area. And again, we can see the relationship between the technical and physical abilities and the perceptual and cognitive skills required to perform at the very, very top and be a skillful performer in this sport. If Van Dijk was not able to jump, if he was not strong, balanced, and coordinated, he wouldn't have won any of those duels. Likewise, if he couldn't head the ball or pass with a volley, he wouldn't have made any of those first time clearances or passes either, regardless of how good his awareness and anticipation skill sets are. But likewise, if he didn't recognize when to drop and the distances of which to mark his opponent, he would have also been very unlikely to win all those duels, which shows that in order to be a skillful player, you've got to have good motor skills, you've got to have good perceptual skills, you've got to have good connection skills. All in all, what I hope I've shown is that Van Dijk is an excellent defender and a highly skillful performer, not just because of his physical and technical skills, but because of his superior cognitive and perceptual abilities too, which has helped him perform all these actions we've gone through in this video on a consistent basis. We've shown that skill is not just about tricks, not just about stepovers or extravagant passes. It is much, much more than that.